Hello again, this is Matt Moser in our continuing series, or part 2 of 2, of creating a DLL or an executable via command line compile. And our next topic was creating a resource file which contains our compiler options and our directives towards building our executable or our DLL. And so in this particular case, I'm going to show you how that's done. In this particular example, we have two COBOL programs. We have console DLL and console XE, and so I'll show you where those are right here, and I'm going to bring those up so you can take a look at what they are. They're not real fancy. Basically, this is the executable. It's going to say I'm going to begin. It's going to call the DLL. It's going to say after the DLL call and be done. And in this particular case, here's the COB. It gets in, it says I'm here, begin console DLL and console DLL, and lo and behold, it returns control right back again and does an end, and we'll sit there and wait for us to pick it back up. Alright, so that's really about it, and that happens to be through Visual Studio. So again, here's Visual Studio, and these programs are copied over into a different folder for you to work with. And so what I want to do now is cover the resource files and some associated batch files. So I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to bring all these up one at a time. And there is a method to my madness. Usually madness to my method. So anyway, I have a build exe.bat. If you're not familiar with bat files, it's kind of outside the scope of this tutorial, but anyway, this is what a bat file typically looks like. So you can come in here, COBOL See, again, I have COBOL See set within my path, and you have an @ sign which points to a file. You can use a full path here, or you can just use the name if it happens to be local. In this case, I have compile options.res, and it stands for my resource file, and here are all my compiler options, and they're pretty specific. Again, if you're familiar with batch files, you could probably put in a %1 and a %2 and build a generic one for yourself here for how you want these to be built. So this is my build of my XE. Here's my build of my DLL. Again, COBOL See, pointing to this file, which happens to be this. Okay, and then if I wanted to build all of them, or both of them in this case, and there's only two, I built a generic compiler options which applies to all of my files, and I'm pointing to both this particular resource file as well as specific directives, compiler directives. So in this particular case, I'm going to call COBOL See for my XE. I'm going to point to my all resource file, and I'm going to say I want it to be main, which you'll notice is up above here as well. And I'm going to say put it out as console XE. Again, I'm going to build my DLL the exact same way, and that's really about it, just pointing to the one resource file. So this goes to this can go to this. This makes it more generic, so if you really wanted to, you could just create a huge list, make your changes for the programs you want to compile, and execute them. So I'm going to come back to here, and again, I've stored all these things in here, so if I do a directory start .bat, I'm going to execute build all, and it's building my program, directory star.exe, directory star.dll, and you'll notice that we have my XE, we have the DLL, they were just built at 345, and I'm going to execute. And it executed just as we expected that it would, based on what we saw in the other program. And lastly, there is a tool available up through Moser which kind of encapsulates or contains all of this stuff within it. And it's fairly configurable, and you can select one or you can select many programs, click compile, and it basically does what was happening up underneath DOS in the background. That's at mosersoft.com. Again, you're using COBOL C from the command line to do your builds, and as long as you set your path up correctly, you'll be doing great. And the other option, or the other item that's definitely of importance, is to go ahead and check the support. Any questions, concerns, you can reach me at Matt_Moser at mosersoft.com or mmoser at alchemysolutions.com, or you can always touch base with our great folks in support at Alchemy Solutions. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you in another tutorial. Thanks. Take care.